Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Freeman is presiding. Good morning. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, bailiff. You may all be seated. Is the plaintiff ready to make its opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor. The plaintiff. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Your Honor, opposing counsel, and you all members of the jury. My name is Sir Seth Parker, and I have the privilege of representing a client that has been told a lie about. A client that they want to make seem a bad person, but in fact, he is truly a great person. This is 72-year-old Mr. Compson. And as you will all hear today, he will tell you that he complained time and time again about wanting to live peacefully in his home. But there was one person ruining it all. Miss Potter. You see, Miss Potter is the owner of a golf club, Green Acres Golf Club, and she wouldn't listen to any of Mr. Compson's complaints. Time and time again, he would complain that the golf club was too close to his house. And then one day, it all happened. One day, his worst fear happened. He was struck by a golf ball. It went through the window of his home and hit him right in the head. Now the defense will try and get you to think that he is lying. But Mr. Compson is not a liar. Mr. Compson is telling the truth. Now we blame the defense and Miss Potter on negligence and damage of property. And we'll ask you at the end of today's trial to find them guilty on all charges. Thank you.
Is the defense ready to make its opening statement? Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, opposing counsel, Judge Freeman, and the members of the jury. My name is Sita Magali. I'm the attorney for the defendant, Sally Potter. Today, you will hear about a kind woman who is wrongly charged with negligence and purposeful damage of property. You will hear from Sally today, and she will tell you that she didn't know Mr. Compson at first, but only when the Green Acres Golf Club expanded their course. She met him because he was complaining so much about the view, the 6 tee, and the golfer's chatter, even though he had nothing to complain about. You will also hear that Mr. Compson was mean to the workers and has no proof that any malpractice occurred. At the end of today's trial, my partner, Annie Kathleen Livia McNeil, will ask that you deliver a verdict of not guilty of all charges to my client.
Is the prosecution ready to call its first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. The prosecution would like to call Mr. Compson to the stand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Please introduce yourself to the court.
My name is Jason Compson. I am 72 years old, and I live near the 6th tee of the Green Acres Golf Club.
And how is it like living there?
It is horrible because of the constant chatter from the golfers that I can hear. And some golfers will even come onto my property to retrieve lost golf balls, which is trespassing.
And did you tell anybody about this?
Yes, I've written letters and met with Miss Porter multiple times, being very nice
And
each
what,
time.
And what was her reaction to all of this?
She seemed to react with anger to my complaints, calling me an old fool.
Old fool? Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so what would happen after all of this?
I, after many complaints, was struck on the right side of my forehead with a golf ball, driven through my window from the 6th tee.
And were there any other damages?
Yes, I dropped an expensive mirror, which had very pricey mantle on it, and the mantle cracked, and the mirror was shattered along with my window when the golf ball came through it.
So, Mr. Compson, why are you in court today?
I am pressing charges for recouping the loss of my window, the medical bills, and my mantle and mirror.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
Is the defense ready to make its cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
Hello.
Mr. Thompson, you were hit in the front of the head, correct?
Yes.
And this happened while you were hanging up a mirror.
Yes.
Judge Freeman, Your Honor. Permission to show the witness Exhibit A. Mr. Compton, was this the mirror you were hanging up?
Yes.
And you were hanging up the mirror on the wall opposite of the window.
Yes.
And the golf ball went through the window while you were hanging up the mirror?
Yes.
But the window was behind you.
Yes, and as soon as I heard the glass shatter, I turned around, but I was not able to turn around fast enough, and it hit me right here from the window.
Even though you claim you were hit in front of it?
Yes.
Mr. Compton, in this picture, do you see a golf ball?
No, it was knocked into that room on the right.
The door is closed in this image, Mr. Compton.
Yes, after I was knocked over, I went through the door to get to my phone and closed it behind me.
That wasn't in the witness statement.
Better object to that, man.
Objection. That is unfair extrapolation.
Objection sustained.
Your Honor, permission to show Mr. Compton Exhibit B. This is Mr. Compton after receiving the injury. Mr. Compton, you can see no injury in this image, correct?
Yes. Because it's covered by a bandage, which is meant to cover the injury.
There's no
so it's
evidence
sealed.
of the injury in this picture since it is covered by bandage.
Yes, if I get a paper cut and I put a bandage over it, is there evidence?
Mr. Compton, that is
Paper
not the
cut.
question I asked. Your Honor, that is all. Thank you.
Is the defense ready to call its witness to the stand?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense would like to call Sally Potter to the stand. Please introduce yourself. My name is Sally Potter. I am the owner of the Green Acres Golf Course. Have you had any difficulties regarding the club? Actually, we're doing really well, and we're getting a lot of business. Except for a man by the name of Jason Compton. Ever since we made the course bigger, he's been complaining about it. He's been complaining about it, but specifically the sixth tee. Do you know Mr. Thompson personally? I didn't know him when I first built the course, but after a couple of days, I started getting to know him because he kept calling my office.
Do you know how far away Mr. Thompson's house is from the golf course?
I do, about 1/4 of a mile. I also know that the sixth tee is made so that the golf shots would point away from his property.
Did he come to complaining to you first or your other workers?
He's been bothering my workers for months. One day he finally screamed, "I want to speak to your manager." Since then he's been coming to me complaining.
And that is all, Your Honor. Thank you.
Is the prosecution ready to make its cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Sally. Didn't you just say on direct examination that Mr. Compson has been complaining to your workers?
I did.
And it went on for so long that he even complained to you.
Yes, and golf course is 1/4 of a mile away from his house.
And over time, you've been expanding the golf course, making it bigger, correct?
Yes, but not in the direction of his house.
And Mr. Thompson finds this very unsafe, doesn't he? And how have your experiences with Mr. Thompson been?
Very bad. He's such a rude person.
But
He
don't
comes to
you?
me every other day saying that my golf course should not be a thing.
Wow. But don't you remember Mrs. Smith saying that Mr. Thompson was the best person he's ever met?
Objection, Your Honor.
What is your objection?
Hearsay. This person that the attorney is referring to is not in the court.
Objection sustained.
Okay, I'll move on, Your Honor. Thank you. Miss Sally, Mr. Thompson asked you to shut down the golf course, correct?
Yes, but why would I shut down a golf course because of one man who thinks it's a problem? I put all my money and time into this golf course, so why should I lose? He should lose.
Of course, you wouldn't shut it down because you care all about the money, don't you?
Objection, Your Honor.
What's your objection?
The attorney is being argumentative towards the witness.
Objection sustained.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
Is the defense ready to make its closing statement?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon, opposing counsel, Judge Freeman, and members of the jury. I am Annie Kathleen Livia McNeil. On behalf of myself, Annie McNeil, and my partner, Sita Magali, we'd like to thank you for your time and diligence in today's trial. As you heard from Miss Potter, the owner of the golf club, she was constantly being harassed by Mr. Compson. Mr. Compson even went so far as yelling at the workers. Mr. Compson acted as if the world revolved around him. He had no regard for the well-being of members of the club and the workers, which provides a good example of what kind of man Mr. Compson is. In addition, Mr. Compson claimed to be hit in the front of the head, even though you heard today that the window in which the golf ball came through was behind him, and he was facing the wall opposite to hang up a mirror. How could it have hit him in the front of the head? Furthermore, in Exhibit A, there's no golf ball. Even though Mr. Compson continues to claim to have been hit by one, how do we even know that he was hit in the first place? Finally, in Exhibit B, we see Mr. Compson with a bandage that covers up any evidence of an injury. How do we know that he was hurt? That's a huge gap in evidence. The bandage covers any signs that we would know if he was bruised. Mr. Compson has no proof that any malpractice ever occurred, other than him staging this crime. Therefore, I ask you to find my client, Mrs. Potter, who is a kind woman and has not committed any crimes, not guilty on all charges. Thank you, Your Honor.
Is the prosecution ready to make its closing statement?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Judge, Your Honors. Good afternoon, opposing counsel, and most importantly, good afternoon to all of you. As we have all heard from this trial, we have a side, the defense, trying to frame Mr. Compson of doing crimes that are unbeknownst. He would never stage anything to get a golf course closed down. Yet we had the defense accuse him of staging a crime, when the real villain of all of this is sitting right over there in this hall. You see, Mr. Compson's an old man that would just like to live a peaceful life. But the golf course comes rolling around, and then one day, as you all heard in today's trial, it crashed through his window and hit him in the head. He's looking for justice, like you all should vote on. He's looking to recoup on all of his medical bills all of his damages to his house, everything. So we'll ask that you all vote on justice and vote Miss Potter guilty on all charges. Thank you.